I have this friend who every once in a while will order a disgustingly disgusting amount of food to eat. I'm talking about like a full Sicilian pizza pie with a side order of garlic knots, a rice ball, a chicken roll. He'll get the full works. No, not for the week's worth where he's going to carefully put some in the fridge and have a little bit throughout the course of the week. He's going to destroy it all. Not maybe over the course of a sitting, but over the course of a full day. And when explaining to me why he would do such a disgusting thing, rather than saying, I'm kind of a slob every once in a while, his line that he would use to me was, well, you got to shock the body. Yes, that's right. You live such a regimented, in shape, everything measured out to the last ounce life that you need to shock the body to keep things regular with a full 8 slices of pizza, chicken roll, garlic knots, buffalo slice, you name it. So you got to shock the body. This week has been a shock the account. You got to shock the account. You got to put some back in because, as we all know, last week so many of you Patreon folk got banned. So I thought, you know what? Let me save the rest of them by shocking the body and putting things back into the account. Now, all kidding aside, it's been a damn week of the Swiss. I'm never going to Switzerland unless I'm on the run and I need to hide money because it's been a Swiss cheese type of week. More Swiss last night. You had Crosby and Raquel registering points. No Rust. You had Schmaltz, Cooley registering points. No Keller. A lot of Swiss this week, but you got to take the good. This is where, if you don't want me at my worst, you don't get me at my best. One of the most ridiculous, preposterous lines that some ladies get away with using for some reason, but you know who isn't allowed to say that? Charles Manson. If you don't want me at my worst, then you don't get me at my best. So if you want Charles Manson to be nice to you on a Sunday, his best, then you just have to get all that other stuff that he does. Yeah, I never really bought into that. It's been rough stretch of days for the line combos. But you know what we do. This is like that Rocky quote, life ain't about where you get, it's where you get hit and where you keep going forward. I got no choice. I got to see you rat bastards on a Thursday. So here we are, full slate of games, as is the case almost every Thursday. We have a break coming up, so let's enjoy the days that we have left before the scam Four Nations. Let's not include Russia. It's not the Olympics. Nobody actually cares. Alex Pietrangelo is just sitting it out to get rest. Fake tournament. But let's talk about this Thursday, which, who knows, it might be fake. Maybe not. You're still seeing some fake results around the league. You see all sorts of random Chicago Blackhawks beating the Tampa Bay Lightning. Tampa Bay Lightning are playing again tonight against the Los Angeles Kings, who can't seem to win a game. Well, guess what I'm picking for all you pizzeria raw doggers? Hey, Frankie!
What can I do for you, sweetheart?
You got an LA slice in there?
I can make you a fresh one in 25 minutes. You want to wait?
Yeah.
If you wait 25, I'll make it now.
LA.
No problem. Let me just finish up the regular pot, make you a fresh one. It'll take you 25 minutes. You go with that? All right. How can I help you, sir?
I want to take the LA Kings. I know they're awful. Nobody's winning. They never win a game. I understand it. They just played last night, second half of back-to-back. The reason this is called Andy's NHL Sniffs, every once in a while, I got to deliver a sniff. So I'm taking the team who hasn't been winning much. Hey, look, I took the Sharks the other night. I'm going to go with the Kings tonight. Am I actually going to bet my money on it? No, absolutely not. I'm not betting a single solitary dollar on it. But the only difference between me and my friend who told me he was shocking the body rather than being an absolute fat bastard is that I'm being honest about it. And obviously, if they're going to win that game, you know who owes us the four-seam fastball. Let's go a little Kempe Kopitar against the Tampa Bay Lightning for a plus money point parlay. Then I want to bring up a team who we talked about 2 nights ago. The offense has went dry a little bit for these Washington Capitals. I mean, I don't really mind so much. It makes them more predictable. Those early season Capitals were pretty wild. They were scoring a lot. They were winning games against really good teams. This is more of the Washington that I expected to see throughout the course of the season. Winning lower scoring games. They obviously showed they can play solid defense under Cadbury last year. I think this version of Washington is what you're going to get for the most of the year. I mean, that maybe they'll get another scoring surge. I just don't think that's their identity in the first place, and their roster really isn't constructed to just blitz you with a bunch of goals. So I think you're going to get more tight checking games, just like last game. What are we up to 10 games in a row? They've stayed under 5.5. So, I mean, this one also, once again, has the makings of an under 6.5. And, you know, where can I go on both sides of this in terms of how do I get this one at plus money? How do I get that one at plus money? We can go right back to that under 6.5 over on shots on goal scam. And the home player that I'm going to utilize this time is Brady Tkachuk over 3.5 shots on goal. And also, just because I like the prospects of this top line for Ottawa, Brady Tkachuk, Claude Giroux, Tim Stützle. I always kind of thought that should have been the top line. Part of the reason that I'm going over 3.5 shots on goal for Brady Tkachuk, and I'll even take that as a standalone bet, is because those are two natural pass-first players that he's playing alongside. It always got a little more confusing to me when you had Norris and Batherson mixed in with those two, but when you have Tkachuk playing with two solid passers, just naturally, I like his over 3.5 shots on goal. And it's really hard not to like Brady Tkachuk and Tim Stützle when they have that top line, top power play correlation. Just like I told you yesterday, doesn't matter if you win, doesn't matter if you lose. You get two quality all-stars like that on a top line. The only difference between last night's game and this game is Washington is good defensively, and they are one of the better teams in the NHL. But Ottawa is at home in this game. How about another, if you don't want to take the shots on goal combo, I'll do a double under 6.5 with that game, and then the Winnipeg and the Boston game. Winnipeg, they are on the perennial under list where they come through so many times. I mean, obviously, they're a defensive team. They have Connor Hellebuck, and they play to their strength when they know what they're doing correct. The true question is going to be, are they going to fall for the same mistake that they did last year? Trade deadline's coming up. Are they going to go snake another Tyler Toffoli and Sean Monahan, thinking that that's going to make their team better, yet your whole identity is built on scratching low-scoring games, being responsible defensively? So are they going to fall for the offensive mistakes yet again? Or are they going to take this core and let them do the dirty work and win the way that they do now? Regardless of all that, they're facing a Boston team who has had many scoring slumps throughout the course of this season, as we kind of predicted, as many predicted. They just don't have the offensive firepower that they used to. So on many instances, including last game, you're going to see them held under 2.5 goals, which is a bet that I like in this game in and of itself. Boston under 2.5 goals against the Winnipeg Jets, but I like that under 6.5 in this game as well. So I like that under 6.5 in the Washington-Ottawa game with the under 6.5 in this game as well. It's a double under 6.5, and if you're hating the unders, why? Why? I could see last season it was what, like 50-50. 50% went over, 50% went under. Every single game last night stayed under 5.5. Every last one. And yes, you could be that guy like my friend who, it's like the male version of horoscope people. He's like, well, you know, it balances out. If it's all unders yesterday, then it's overs today. I go, all right, well, what if this week's all unders and next week's all overs? He didn't really have an answer for that. So I'm just going to go with the double under 6.5. This has been the year of the under, the season of the under. And I don't care if this was this season, last season, the season before, these two games. I would like the double under 6.5 on the both of them. And also, if you want to do something else with that under 6.5 with the under 0.5 point for Elias Lindholm, who's down on that third line. At least he was, unless they're going to line juggle again. Assuming Connor Hellebuck starts, I just think this is a good spot to kind of fade some of these Bruins. We will see, but I like relying on Winnipeg for those low-scoring games. And lastly, I got to try to leave you with some offense, find some offense on this slate. It's a tough slate. You know, when I see two bad teams play each other, I've said this to you guys for years already. You can get the awful 2-1 Sharks-Penguins that we got the other night. But would you have been surprised if it was what we saw a little up north with the Seattle game against the Ducks? What was it, 6-4? When you have really bad teams playing really bad teams, you can get a boring-ass low-scoring game or a full ruckus chaotic game. And you see that same type of thing. I mean, you have Calgary playing Anaheim and the Sharks playing the Kraken. I feel like one of these games is going to blow up. One is going to be a dud. One is going to be a stud. And really, I have no clue which one it's going to be. This is like running for the American Gladiators exit, and you know only one path is clear. And I know that's a ridiculous reference. You're going to have to go look it up. That final stretch, American Gladiators, you're running, and behind one of those walls, there's just a massive roided-out gladiator waiting to destroy you. But one lane, you're running home free, and that's what one of those games are. If I had to choose, Flames can always engage in kind of crusty, low-scoring games here and there. Once in a while, you'll see the random offensive outburst. You know, Anaheim, I think they have 15 or 16 goals in their last 3 games. But to me, it's always when those Sharks, I feel like those Sharks, any game can really, they can either take it on the chin or actually weirdly give it to somebody else when their offense is clicking now that they have 2 kind of good offensive lines. But I want to look at Edmonton, and there's only one guy who gets really shouted out here. He never asked to be a part of this show, but it's Stevie Bongrips and his Detroit Red Wings. Stevie sent me a message over the weekend. I still don't know. I almost don't want to believe this is him. Kudos to you, Stevie, for going out like the Yoggers. I guess you guys are all Patrick Kane fans, Patrick Kane supporters, and you and your friends go out like the traveling Yoggers? You all went out at a bunch of different Patty Kane jerseys? I need to look around and see if more people were talking about it. I didn't know you were one of the traveling Patty Kanes. So that was pretty funny. I got a good chuckle about that over the weekend. The same way you told me you got a chuckle about your top line continuing to come through. You remember last game I was like, you know, Larkin, Raymond, they're too expensive. So you know what? I got to pass on them. Well, the little wrinkle that got thrown into that is the third member of that line, who I know we were looking at. We were talking about Kasper, the very friendly Red Wing. There was Darius Kasparaitis, the unfriendly Russian. Well, we got Kasper, the friendly Red Wing, who is now on that top power play. He was last game. So we have that top line, top power play correlation amongst all 3 of those Detroit Red Wings players. The only problem is Edmonton plays pretty damn good defense these days. That's what you get when you lose a couple of playoff series. They're not just willing to engage in these 6-4 games. We could always hope for it. There always is the possibility of it somewhat, you know, when you have McDavid and that power play and Draisaitl on the ice. So I'm hoping this one has more goals than not. That Kasper point is coming in at like plus 125, something like that. Look at all 3 members of the line. Minus 190, plus 125. How does that make sense? How are the other 2 getting those minus 190 points? Oh, that's very likely. We got to price that at minus 190. They're both going to get a point. But what about the guy who's going to be right next to him? No, let's put him at plus 130. He's not getting a point. So somehow those 2 are getting one. He's not. And they're all going to be on the ice at the same time all game. I really don't understand how that works, which is why trickle-down snakeonomics is always the way to go. Marco Kasper, over half of a point for the Detroit Red Wings. And that is what I have for you here on a Thursday. Busy slate, a lot of stuff. I think we're going to get that ship going in the right direction, heading towards the weekend. Good luck to you. Better luck to me. Make sure you do a guy a favor here. There's no time it's appreciated more than after a tough couple days, and you guys are. Now, I will give that click in good times and bad. I will leave that comment. I will engage with these videos. I will help this channel slowly trickle its way up. No, I don't have my one viral video where I go up to a drive-thru like Michael Myers, like an imbecile, and now all of a sudden I have 600 million subscribers. I have no clue how any of that works. I still think it's mostly a scam. But I have to do it the hard way, as every day. I got to do the slow dig, so you guys grab a shovel, help me out, 6 feet under, Undertaker Mankind, give me a like, give me a comment, give me a subscribe, click the notifications, and if you want to join me, you want to be a minority owner of this show, you enjoy what's going on here, you enjoy hearing this nonsense coming out of my mouth, come join the Patreons, patreon.com/Andy Francess. That's where I'll put any additional stuff out there. That's where I'm engaging with the chats. That's where I'm putting out my line combinations every day. It's been the worst 3-day stretch for the line combinations all season long. How awful is that? I cannot believe now, for the month of January, we're only at plus 63 units. How are we ever going to live? How are we ever going to live being up plus 63 units in 1 month? I don't know how we're going to do it. I'm going to think about how we can handle that, and then I will get back to you tomorrow with another round of NHL Sniffs. Take it easy. I look forward to it. I'll talk to you then.